Unless you have been living under a rock, chances are by now you heard about Diddy getting arrested. Well, folks, I'm here to say that Diddy didn't do it. Now, before any of you all get angry, I know a lot of you all clicked on this video to yell at me. Let me explain myself. I'm not saying that Diddy did not commit these crimes. I do believe the accusations made against Diddy. But you see, now they have placed Diddy on watch. I think you guys know what type of watch I'm talking about. So I'm here to say that yes, Diddy may be guilty of these crimes, but Diddy did not end himself. Diddy did not end himself. And I think we need to keep saying that because right now, in my opinion, it would be a complete miracle if Diddy makes it to trial. I think that there's a lot of powerful people out there who it would be in their best interest to go ahead and silence Diddy now and take him out. And we know that this isn't far-fetched. We know that this isn't something that's impossible because we've seen it happen before with Schmepstein, right? So it can definitely happen again. And when you arrest someone like Diddy and you charge him with these crimes, the elephant in the room is who was his accomplices, who helped him get away with this. And if he's really doing all of these freaky things and having these freaky parties, and he's supplying people with dudes and women to do freaky things too, the question is, who are those people that he's supplying? Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be people who are even more powerful than Diddy, who are going to Diddy for his supply of his freaky people that he has access to. It's crazy because a story like this one, I have to be careful with my words. YouTube does not like you saying certain words, so I have to be careful how I talk here, but I hope you all get what I'm saying. It's like just with Schmepstein, right? Who are the people who you are supplying these people to do things to? You know what I mean? It's not like Diddy is having freak-offs by himself. Who's at the party? And when you're going and finding these male prostitutes and these women to do these things, who are you handing them off to? Who's benefiting from this? You know what I mean? Who's coming to you to see you for your supply of freaks for their freak parties? So that's where we're at right now when it comes to this story, because you cannot simply arrest Diddy and act as if this story ends there because it's so much deeper. And it's not like it's just your average Tom, Dick, and Jane at Diddy's parties. No, these are some of the most famous, well-known people in the world. An extensive list of people. I can't even sit here and start naming off names, because it would be damn near everyone in Hollywood at some point has been connected to Diddy or Diddy's parties. So it's going to be in a lot of people's best interest to go ahead and silence Diddy, because if we get to a trial, folks, if we somehow, some way, Diddy survives and we get to a trial, you got to believe there's going to be a lot of names that start spilling out. There's going to be a lot of people who are brought up in that trial. And these people don't want any part of that. So they're probably gathering together, having meetings right now, putting money together, trying to figure out how they're going to knock Diddy off. That's what's happening right now as we speak, if you ask me. And you know, when they put out this news all over every TV channel and every outlet about Diddy being on watch, it gives people the impression that, oh, Diddy must want to do something to himself. Diddy must be, not handling this well mentally. It automatically gives you the feeling that, oh, Diddy might do something to himself, right? When in reality, that might not even be a thought that's crossing through Diddy's mind, but because of the mainstream media and how they're rolling with this story now, a lot of people already have it in their mind that Diddy might knock himself off, right? A lot of people, a lot of impressionable people have already seen the news clips, they've read the articles, and now they think that Diddy is distressed, he's not in a good place mentally, and he might take himself out. So when the time comes that this does happen, people will believe it. Like, yeah, well, they did put him on the watch list. Yeah, okay. Diddy didn't do it, folks. Diddy did not end himself. But before I go any further with that, let's go ahead and roll this clip, and then I'll be right back with more.
Mogul Sean Diddy Combs on suicide watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after 2 judges denied his request for bail. This as a grand jury is expected to hear new testimony from sex workers very soon. Good Day's Lizette Nunez is outside the facility in Gowanus with the very latest. Lizette, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. So TMZ is reporting that 2 sex workers are sharing their encounters with Diddy with the feds. We're also hearing that Diddy has a target on his back while he is behind bars here at the Metropolitan Detention Center. TMZ is reporting that more people plan to cooperate with the feds in Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking case.
We found out that these 2 individuals, and we have actually spoken to one of them. They are both sex workers, currently sex workers. One of them says that they had an interaction with Diddy in 2014, and they are willing to tell the feds what they know about that interaction.
Jeremy Saland, a criminal defense attorney, weighing in.
You can't, as a prosecutor, subpoena or force a witness to come speak to you in your office, but you can subpoena them to a grand jury where they can speak there or have to potentially speak there. So whether these are new witnesses, whether these are new complainants, meaning victim parties, making the allegations, will yet to be seen. But it doesn't bode well. It doesn't, certainly it's not a good thing if you're Sean Combs' team.
According to several reports, Diddy has been placed on suicide watch at the Metropolitan Correction Center in Brooklyn. The music mogul's mental state is unknown, but being placed on watch is considered to be a preventative measure. This week, 2 different judges denied his request for a $50 million bond. His lead defense attorney is attempting to move him to a different facility in New Jersey as he awaits trial. TMZ is reporting that due to his celebrity status and the allegations, this could bring unwanted attention from other inmates and be a threat to Diddy.
What we've been told by a former warden is he's a target. That's the fact of the matter, and that's why they have him in a solitary part of the jail, because they don't, he becomes a target because it's like what we've been told, it's like a badge of honor that if you were able to inflict some violence on Diddy, that gets you score points with other inmates. So that's the situation that obviously the jail officials do not want to happen.
And federal investigators have made it clear that they do have video evidence, so they have an idea of who was a part of these freak-offs. Now, the criminal defense attorney that we spoke to, he went on to say, depending on what these sex workers share, that means, potentially could mean that there would be new charges for Diddy. As the latest here from Brooklyn, we'll send things back inside.
All right, Lizette, thank you very much.
So here's the one thing that may save Diddy's life. You see, Schmepstein, he didn't have many connections. Well, let me rephrase that. Schmepstein, he had a lot of connections to powerful people. We know that. But he didn't have many personal connections. There weren't many people out there that Schmepstein loved, that the powers that be could hold over him to get him to stay quiet or something along those lines. Diddy has kids. So Diddy's kids may save his life. And I don't mean that, the support of Diddy's kids, that's what's going to bring Diddy through these hard times. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that the powers that be, the powerful people who are also caught up in this mess, that don't want to be caught up in this mess, they can hold Diddy's kids over his head. This is something that they couldn't do with cold-hearted, evil Schmepstein. But this is something they can do with Diddy. So there's a possibility here that they can force Diddy to be silent and not reveal other names. They can talk Diddy into not being cooperative with law enforcement and the investigation by holding his kids over his head. Like, hey, do you want something bad to happen to your daughter? No? Well, you better not say anything in court. Hey, do you want something bad to happen to your sons? No? Well, you better not say this name. You better not say that name. So as horrific as that sounds, this is like the one thing that Diddy has going for him right now. Because it looks like this guy is probably going to go to jail for the rest of his life. Let's just be real. I don't think that Diddy's going to beat these charges. But there's a possibility that Diddy survives and doesn't not end himself. You know what I mean? There's a possibility that no one turns the cameras off and goes on lunch break so they can end Diddy's life and pretend he did it himself. There's a possibility that he doesn't have to go through that. Because Diddy does have personal connections. Diddy does have family members and kids that I assume he loves that they will hold over him and they will use against him. But there's still a possibility that they might not be confident in that tactic either. All I'm saying is that's kind of like the only chance Diddy has at surviving this, in my opinion. Because the powerful people that he's connected to, who are connected to these freak-off parties, and there's photos and video evidence of a lot of these people, right? You know, it's just like the odds are stacked up against Diddy. There's no way that Hollywood and the bigwigs in the music industry and these other even politicians that are tied to Diddy, there's no way they're going to allow this information to come out. So either they take out Diddy or they're going to threaten him with his kids. I think those are the two paths that we're looking at right now. Either path, though, I don't see us getting the full truth about what was going on. You know what I mean? Obviously, if they take Diddy out, he can't say anything. But if they're, you know, if they're blackmailing Diddy, you know, using his kids and stuff like that, he's still not going to speak the truth. So either way, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed by this case overall because a lot of people are waiting to hear the connections. They're waiting to hear all of these other celebrities' names drop and all of that stuff, but we may never get to that point. So I just want people to be realistic with their expectations when watching this case play out. But for now, you let me know what you think down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and remember, Diddy did not end himself.